1 mile from the US border, thousands of people escaping poverty and violence in Central America find themselves trapped in the city of Mexicali.
Tonight, chaos erupting on the border, a humanitarian crisis as questions increase looking for solutions to calm the situation.
The US government's hardline stance on immigration has left them stateless and homeless. They are now being targeted by a vile criminal trade, the buying and selling of human organs.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Bien, bien, aquí estamos a la orden.
I've come to meet Gonzalo, who has provided refuge to over 7,000 migrants in Mexicali in the last few years.
So tell me a bit about this neighborhood. What sorts of issues have you been seeing?
Hay mucha delincuencia organizada, porque nos llega gente que fue secuestrada, violando sus derechos humanos y les han quitado un órgano por haber llegado con la ilusión del sueño americano.
How many people have you personally seen or experienced had their kidneys extracted?
Pues han sido unas 20 personas.
What happened to them?
Se fue un grupo, estamos hablando como de 15 personas, a cruzar. Otras personas en los cuales les invitaron soda. El paso a seguir fue que pues se durmieron. Cuando despertaron, uno de ellos me platicó que se ladea y le duele la espalda. Y ahí fue donde se sale y tenía poquito sangre, pero a la vez sintió una cortada. Entonces se sorprendió. Él le habla a su hermano y a su primo y llorando así, sin riñón, sin un riñón.
These people were just sedated and tricked and had their organs extracted.
Es el modus vivendus. No es una persona ni dos, son grupos que es una mafia fronteriza.
I knew the buying and selling of organs was happening here, but hadn't expected to find that people were also being drugged and butchered. Mexico's vile and exploitative criminal trade in human organs is fueled by a health crisis across the border in the US. In 2020, nearly 90,000 Americans were waiting for a kidney transplant, yet only 1 in 5 received a donor. On average, 20 US citizens die every day waiting for an organ transplant. But they have little idea about the human misery that lies behind the trade. After weeks of working connections in the criminal underworld, we've made contact with an organ trafficking gang who claim to work across international borders, bringing US patients into Mexicali. They prey on migrants, offering them $5,000 in exchange for a kidney.
I always feel nervous about meeting someone who operates within the black market. That's always something that I get the jitters before going in. All right, let's go. It's a pit bull dog.
Hacen con confianza, con confianza. Con confianza.
There is for you guys masks. How big is your team?
Between 10, 15, up to 20 people. Right here, Mexicali, US, Mexicali, and right there at the Fiji.
And they include doctors? This is part of your team?
Well, this one doctor right here is the one to take the blood out and take him to the laboratory so they give you the results that he's a compatible person.
Why do you go after the poor people to get their
It's
kidney?
not the poor people, because there's a plenty of people from the South that came looking for the American dream and this stuff in here. They don't have jobs, they don't have nothing right here. So talk to them and offer a solution. Because a lot of people know that you can live with only with a kidney. He's gonna get out something on his body, but he will get well. I'm not a demon, I'm just doing my job and helping people. get some money for do that.
The organ trafficker tells me that he pays off corrupt medical staff to get lists of kidney patients in US hospitals. If they're interested in his service, they have to send him a blood sample.
So your U.S. clients, going back to the U.S., because that's what I'm really curious about. So you have Arizona,
Yeah,
California,
Florida,
Nevada,
and closer the Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Once the doctor and his gang has tested the sample, he scours the streets of Mexicali for homeless migrants whose blood is compatible with the American client. He lets us follow him as he preys on the most vulnerable.
As soon as I started asking him how licensed trading engineer in Mexicali, they started to fill it up. Told me the problem that he had. So that's when we started to listen. I tell him that I got his money. ¿Usted tiene, está sano, su persona es sano?
Sí,
¿Sí? ¿Todo bien?
yo me siento bien.
¿Sabe que puede vivir sin un riñón usted, verdad?
No, yo no vengo a mis cosas.
No vende sus órganos, perfecto. Está bien.
Police everywhere, huh? But is he someone you'd go after? He's kind of old.
Aquí,
He's going to
now
people.
you see how everyone's can get my information.
I see.
It's like a chain.
A few minutes later, another homeless migrant appears.
Mira, tengo una, probablemente pueda ser tu solución a tu problema de dinero. Porque, ¿sabes que puedes tú vivir sin un riñón? Tengo uno más. Puedes dar 5,000.
Con un riñón.
Sí. ¿Cómo ves?
Está de pensarse, pero sí, se ocupa dinero.
Sería bueno que lo pensaron, porque todo es consentimiento tuyo y lo firmas y ya hacemos todo papeleo bien. Y el dinero está aquí en efectivo. Pero solo tenemos que hacer unos exámenes para ver tu compatibilidad para la persona que tomamos el traslado. Estoy seguro que ustedes una y tomar que 19.
Sí, porque la familia también pues así aquí, pues ahorita está muy dura la cosa y...
Eso sería bueno. ¿Cómo tú me hablas de qué tanto tiempo?
To my left, there's rows of homeless people just laying on the street. And this guy came from that same alleyway.
People can live with one kidney, but it's a highly complicated surgery. Only the most desperate would place their life in the hands of a black market surgeon.
Organ trafficking, organ harvesting is a hideous crime. For the facilitators, this is just business. They see these people as money, you know. And because they're vulnerable, because there's nobody to defend them there, many of these people are also tricked into it. They will, even tell them, you're young, you know, your kidney will grow back, which obviously is a medical impossibility. I mean, there are so many risks involved with these illegal surgeries that are performed in places that sometimes aren't even hospitals, in places, you know, where there's no hygiene. A lot of these people may become sick. It can also be deadly. A kidney can be sold with $100,000, and then the money that the migrant, the poor people get are a tiny fraction of that. So most of the money is left with the facilitator and the surgeon. It takes a network to develop this type of organ trade. And it's almost always across borders. Because in order for a facilitator of this organ harvesting business to be successful, to make money, they need to operate between rich countries and poorer countries, or conflict areas and economies that are stable, because This is where the money is.
The trafficking gangs work with a network of corrupt doctors across Mexico. Surgeons here earn just $22,000 per year, 14 times less than doctors in the US. So some are easily lured into the trade.
So my fixer just revealed some information to me about a doctor who's been operating in the black market business for 6 years, and we are about to go meet with him. ¿Cómo estás?
Bien, 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 ¿ustedes?
So can you tell me a little bit about how you got into the clandestine part of your job?
En la medicina atendemos gente de bien, gente de la mafia, narcotraficantes.
I've interviewed people who've recruited migrants off the street to sell their organs. What do you think about that?
Nunca una gente que tenga dinero va a vender su órgano. Siempre tiene que ser una gente pobre.
Who are you operating on? Are your clients American, or what are their background?
No, son de todo el país, pero también hay extranjeros de la frontera vecina, porque obviamente el costo varía mucho de allá hacia acá, por eso.
Are the cartels involved?
Bueno, yo creo que no, pues todos los cárteles están involucrados. Un riñón. Entonces, pues obviamente pago con un riñón, ¿sí? Pero ahí sí, no había opción, lo teníamos que hacer. Igual puedes cobrar muy bien por esto, pero igual te obligan a hacerlo sin ningún centavo. Es un doble filo.
He claims the cartels sometimes force him to work for free, but the organ trafficking gang he mainly works for pays him highly lucrative fees.
How much money do you make?
Sí, son riñones que es lo más frecuente. Pues menos, ¿no? Son 30, 40 mil dólares. Si es hígado, son 60, 70 mil dólares. Corazón, pues ahí ya se van a 100, 150 mil dólares, dependiendo, ¿no? O sea, depende del riesgo del órgano.
The surgeon refuses to tell us where he gets hearts and livers from, but the implication is horrifying. One of Mexico's notorious cartels has been linked to the trade. In 2014, the Knights Templar were investigated on suspicion of kidnapping and murdering children to harvest their organs for sale. There have also been 2 horror stories about dead tourists' bodies being stripped for body parts in Mexican hospitals. But the scale of organ trafficking in Mexico is largely hidden, as most of the victims can't turn to the authorities for help.
Migrants, because of their illegal status, in most cases, especially on the Mexico-US border, they have no rights. They need the money to cross the border. They need the money to survive. There are so many people who are missing. Bodies are buried, and many of these people are migrants. The police in these areas are corrupt, and they're working hand in hand with the traffickers. The migrants, being the victims, are not a priority at all for the Mexican law enforcement. Things that they're focused on, like the war on drugs. You know, the US is trying to stop. It's the migrants and their lives and their health. United States. So this makes them the perfect victims. They're victims
migrants are not the only victims. We've made recruits directly from Mexico's prison system.
Soy intermediario entre tienen necesidad de salir y ellos tienen un recurso económico para poder salir de ahí. Entonces,
Parker claims his money can help prison.
emotions are just,
You have no emotions?
no. Para salir de ahí. Sí,